friends too.
Hey, what's up? This is John Moyer with the bands Disturbed and Art of Anarchy, and you are listening to BleachBANGS music, and you can find it on www.bleachbangs.com. Keep it rocking.
This is BleachBANGS music, and we are in Las Vegas, Nevada at Rockin' the Spring, and we are with Art of Anarchy. What's going on? Want to introduce yourself first?
Sure. Hey, this is John Moyer, bass player for Art of Anarchy. Art of Anarchy is a band consisting of members from different bands who've come together and created this project. Our guitar player is Ron Thal Bumblefoot, previously very famous for playing with Guns N' Roses for years, and also was a solo artist in his own right, and releases amazing stuff on his own. He's an amazing guitar player as well. We have as lead singer Scott Stapp, who if you've heard that name, you've probably associated with the band Creed of 30 million records. And then myself, I just finished a successful tour with the band Disturbed. I am the bass player for Disturbed. We had a 14-month run supporting Immortalized. It was killer.
Yes, it was.
And as that is ending, I am now starting up with my side project, Art of Anarchy. And this band, we have been, and then to rounding out the lineup are the twin brothers, John and Vince Voda, the metal thing one and thing two of our band. So the band's based out of Staten Island. Mm-hmm. That's where the Vodas live, and Ron's also an East Coast guy. And so we started recording this record and working on this record about a year and a half ago when we got Scott Stapp in the band. Just writing and recording, and then like in between my Disturbed tours, I would, fly into New York and track parts and write with the guys.
Gotcha.
And so over the course of a year, we created this album called The Madness.
Yes.
It came out March 24th. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. I'm super happy with the record. We all are. It's not a metal record. It's definitely a rock record. Mm-hmm. Hard rock at times. It gets heavy. Some great guitar playing, great solos that are happening on it.
It's got soul. I mean, it's got
feeling
to it.
Nice.
Yes, it really does.
Scott, he dug deep lyrically on this record. Super proud of what he's done melodically and lyrically on this record. There's a lot of conviction with the songs. The record was actually engineered, produced, and mixed by Ron.
Very talented.
Very talented guy.
He did the first one too, didn't he? Didn't he?
He did, as a matter of fact. And if you've heard of Art of Anarchy before this, it would have been because we did have one record before this, and it was not with Scott Stapp. It was with a different Scott.
Yes.
The infamous and dearly departed Scott Weiland. We were actually the last record he did before passing away.
Wow.
He had released the Wildabouts record, and then right after that we released this record. Unfortunately, we never got to do any live shows with Weiland, but he was an amazing talent. But there was an interesting transition from that record to this record. They're very different.
Kind of what I was wondering. What was the difference in the writing and the recording of one album to the other?
The first record was, in my opinion, a little one-dimensional in that it was mostly the brainchild of John Voda, the guitar player, who founded, him and his brother Vince founded the band. And they had been writing this record for a good year and a half before even bringing me in, and almost over a year before bringing in Weiland. So there was a bulk of material that was done just with him, working with Ron in the studio, and it was just a project. There was no definite idea of what it was going to become. And then after he kind of had a bulk of material, he reached out to Weiland. Weiland agreed to sing on tracks on the record. He reached out to me to play bass, and I played bass. But there wasn't a lot of creative, what's it called? Working together,
Gotcha.
wasn't quite happening.
Sending tracks back and forth between each other.
And it worked out great. And I'm super happy with that record. But this record, we were all, we sat together in a room. Scott Stapp was like, "We need to figure out what this band is. Who are we?" And so we sat for days just working on riffs, trying to put together little things. And I mean, a couple of days go by, nothing. It was just rough. I'm not kidding. It was like, are we gonna be able to make this happen? On the third day of jamming, something happened. Started grooving on something. I looked over and I saw Scott smiling. It's like the first time I see him smile in days. He wasn't scowling or anything. He was just kind of sitting on the couch listening, taking it all in, and I look at the drummer and I go, hey man, I got an idea here. Follow me on this. So I start this little groove, you know, this little chord change, and Ron jumps in, starts playing a couple riffs, and you know, I go that riff right there, yeah, but do that here, and then when I go to this section, go to that. He's like, yeah, okay, cool. He starts doing it, and John Voda, he looks over, and I was like, you know, I looked at Ron, I was like, you know, what are our main chords we're doing here? Show John, and John jumped in and did like a little cool little lead line, and that was The Madness.
Good.
And that was the first song we wrote as a band. It was a big breakthrough moment for us. You know, we kind of started coming together. Scott picks up the microphone. It's the first time I heard him sing in a jam environment.
Yeah.
And he just starts going, no, and he's singing hard. And it's powerful. And no words yet. You know, he's just singing this melody, you know.
Right.
I was like, okay, cool. You know, we got a little something here, right? So that was the first breakthrough song. And quickly we followed it up with No Surrender and the song Won't Let You Down. So those three songs came together, and it sort of was the key, the launching point, the formula, or you know, the idea of what the rest of the record was going to be. And so once we had those three songs, it was like, okay, now we kind of figured out our sound and what was working, where the chemistry was, and then we approached these other songs with the same sort of attitude, and you know, just.
That's awesome. I mean,
yeah.
Getting everybody together, working on the same songs, going the same direction, and just feeling it. That's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of push and pull, and then after that, it was like, okay. And then Ron came up with some stuff, and we had another musician, Zach Malloy, who helped with pull the lyrics out of Scott, and did some great lyrics with Scott, and you know, everything was based around Scott's experiences, you know. So once the lyrics started happening, it was, you know, almost like an interview. It's like, well, what's going on then, Scott? He goes, well, you know, there was this angel leading me down this distant highway. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a line. And that's the second line of The Madness. There's an angel leading me along an endless highway.
Yep.
You know? And I was like, well, what? And literally he says that's what happened to him during one of his episodes, you know, that it was one of his more infamous, you know, moments, you know, a couple years ago, when we all know, probably seen the YouTube videos, you know. And I mean, you know, right now he's in amazing condition. He works out all the time. He's taking great care of himself. He's got his wife out with him, you know, almost always. He's been sober now 2.5 years, coming up on 2.5 years. So, you know, he's a changed man, as I was going to say, which is another name on our record. And you know, and then you hear the lyrics of that song, you know, and it's just very, you know, it's very clear. I mean, the way he talks is very understandable, relatable, but it also paints a great image.
See, that's a good songwriter right there.
Absolutely.
Somebody that knows what they're going to say. And you only have like 4 minutes to paint a picture and put the listener into exactly what they were feeling and tell the whole story in 4 minutes. And he has a way of doing that. That's
his delivery, you know, changed, man. You know, well, I made a mess of things, turned our world upside down. You're like, oh, it all got out of hand.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, we all know that feeling. You know, we all know when we've messed up and we've messed things up, and we need that forgiveness. And that's what Change Man's about. And as the record goes on, you know, you've got, you know, like The Madness, he delves deep into like what was actually happening when he was, you know, in some of his deepest, darkest world. And then he slowly comes out of it. And you know, there's a song Afterburn, you know, and that's one of the last songs on the record. And that song is about living with the choices you've made but moving on. But he actually said living in the afterburn. Yeah, it's powerful, you know, and the order of the songs on this record was really important because it was, you know, it was supposed to tell the story.
Chronological.
Yeah. Maybe not, you know, maybe not exactly, but at least artistically and emotionally chronological.
Cool.
You know, and I think it tells a great story. So there's a little synopsis of what Art of Anarchy is about.
That is awesome. You are like the easiest interview ever.
You know what? From here on, I'm just going to say yeses and nos.
I think you actually covered just about everything I had.
How did Scott Stapp become?
How did Scott Stapp get into the band? Well, after Wyland passed away, honestly, in my opinion, I was like, okay, well, that's it.
Yeah.
It was a good project. I was happy to be part of it. You know, I wish we could have done more with it. And then our manager and John Voda, guitar player, you know, they were talking, and he said something to him like, "Oh, we need to get another singer. Who would you get?" And they were just kind of brainstorming. One of the first names that came up was Scott Stapp.
Wow.
Oh.
I mean, right out of the gate, and it was like, nah. And this is like a year and a half ago, you know. So, you know, where he was, where his head was kind of unknown.
Right.
You know, I don't think he was doing his solo stuff really strong right then. I mean, he has. So I'm not sure where he was, but it was a name that I remember thinking to myself, you know, okay, you know, we just had a guy with issues,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, and it went downhill, and you know, doing
I could see your hesitation.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
Campbell.
you know, and it's nothing against who he is as a person. Believe me, I don't mean that in any way possible. I didn't know him.
Yeah.
I only knew, you know, what the rest of us knew.
Yep.
You
Yeah,
know,
of course.
and so I was like, well, it's not gonna hurt to reach out to him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So our manager John Gomez reached out to Scott, and it took a good little while. You know, he kind of had to reach out once, reached out again, and then, you know, after a little persistent, you know, pleasantly persistent poking, Scott said, you know what, let's get together, let's meet, let's see if we, you know, let's see what happens. Scott saw our old record and was impressed with, you know, how good the record sounded, how professional it was, how good the artwork was.
Right.
Like, he's like, okay, these guys are no joke. You know, they know what they're doing. And we got together, and then it was like, you know, all right, let's see what happens. So that's kind of how it went.
Cool. That's awesome. As far as touring, do you have any more festivals and all that kind of stuff? Where can everybody find you guys out?
I wish that I had a string of shows that I could just tell you right now. I wish I could go, we're going to be here, we're going to be here, we're going to be there, but, you know, for whatever reason, you know, we're not working as much this summer as I was hoping we would be, you know, which maybe is a blessing in disguise because I've been on the road a lot with Disturbed. I wouldn't mind being home. I have a 9-year-old son, so, you know, personally speaking, I'm okay with the break. But professionally, I did think we were going to have more shows come up. So all we have on the books right now is tonight's awesome show here in Vegas at this Rock into Spring. We're headlining. It's a 3-day festival. It's been killer. Buck Cherry played last night as the headliner. We play tonight, and tomorrow's Sick Puppies.
Right.
And I know that singer for Sick Puppies. I know very well. He's from Houston. Brian
Oh, really?
Scott.
You
I used
see-
to manage one of his old bands, Dev Electric, before he
Cool.
got the Sick Puppies gig. Yeah. It's a small little world.
We haven't seen him with the new singer.
We have, and I'm really
Oh
excited.
my God, they're
yeah,
so good.
I'm so excited
We
about
did
it.
some
I'm
shows
just
earlier this
ready
year
for
with them, and they were simply amazing. As a 3-piece, it's pretty powerful.
Exactly.
So that's what's going on. So we play tonight, and then here's the kicker: our show ends tonight. We're probably ending like around 11:30, something like that. And at 4 a.m. we got to be at the airport because we're flying to South Carolina for a festival out there. And so that will be on Sunday. We're playing the festival out in South Carolina.
Is it Carolina Rebellion this
No, it's not. It's like a radio festival.
Oh,
Just
okay.
rattle off the radio station right now, but I can't. and then I head back home to Austin for the foreseeable future until something else comes up.
Cool.
So hopefully something soon.
Right.
But I don't know right now.
Okay. Well, cool. Fair
You
enough.
can keep up with the tours, any touring dates and stuff on Facebook and
Yeah.
websites and all that.
Yeah.
Anywhere on
Good.
the
Thank
internet,
you.
Right?
Good.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely.
You're definitely one of the easiest interviews. That's awesome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, you guys have
See
a
you
good one.
tonight, man.
Enjoy it.